Yo, what up? Welcome to the session. Favorite thing to talk about. Y'all done seen me talk about prime. Y'all done seen me talk about just life. We're gonna talk some business, but we're gonna talk a whole lot of basketball. We're gonna talk a whole lot of basketball. Whole lot of WNBA next season, but with the start of this season, we're going to start this Dubz Cession with just some preseason talk, some look at where the Dubs are at right now and where we think they could be going. Definitely my favorite squad. Win, lose, or draw. We're rocking with them for a minute, so it's not even just the players. You know, I love the team and professionalism of the team and the vibe of the team. Reminds me a lot of like the team I played with in high school. Just seemed like a lot of love, a lot of fun, a lot of love of the game, and a lot of pushing of each other to just be better. So when I look at them, it's just a lot of doing it the right way. You hear people say all the time. Especially interested to see if this is going to be, Steve Kerr's last dance. Will he be back next season? Will he take a break? Will he move on? What happens here? Does he ride it out with Steph and Klay and Draymond until they're finished and they go off into the sunset together? What does that look like? And what is the young talent that we brought in? How will they gel and start to make a difference this season? And how does that fit with some of these dominant teams in the West that have been dominant for a minute? Denver, of course, the defending champs. Up and coming teams like Sacramento that just continue to get better. Great young team. LA made some moves. So it's always interesting to see how we measure up and what we do. And I know we're always underdogs in people's minds since Kevin Durant left, since KD left. Even though we won a championship since then, they still look at us as the dynasty is over. Can't do it again. So I love to see how we give him a run for that money. Steph is like that little engine that could. He think he can, and the more you tell him he can't, the more you think he can. And I'm loving the season that he's in as a player where it's kind of like, get on my back and I want to take you there. And he means it and he delivers. And I don't think that last season, at the end of the season, he didn't have guys that really could get in the trenches with him and get it done. And so I'm looking to see where those dogs come from this year. Draymond and Klay will always be there. Looney as well. I mean, Looney is so underrated, but so appreciated by his team. I love that they give him his flowers. I love that they showed him the love from the inside out. We just don't appreciate him as much as we should on the outside looking in, but Looney is super important a super important cog in how that organization runs, and those players and how they hold each other accountable and responsible for doing their job. We got our first preseason game coming up here real soon. I think last check we had 20 players on the roster. Of course, we brought in Chris Paul, Dario Saric, I don't know how to say his name, Jerome Robinson. We drafted Trace Jackson Davis and Brandon Posmiski. I'll get the names right before the season is over, especially if you make me want to call your name. So, if you do something outstanding, I'm for sure gonna know your name and won't forget it. So excited to see what those guys do. We got some two-way players signed: Usman Garuba and Lester Quinones. I think that's right. First preseason game coming up October 7th. It's gonna be 5:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. We signed some players to battle for that 14th roster spot. Kendrick Davis, Rudy Gay, Javon Johnson, Rodney McGruder, Donovan Williams. Rodney McGruder. Everybody talking about how is Draymond going to get along with Chris Paul and it being some bad blood there. But when I saw the name Rodney McGruder, immediately I thought about Klay totally ending this dude's career in a post-game conference. I think I want to say Rodney McGruder was trying to beef with somebody from the Warriors, and they asked Klay, they go to Klay. I'm going to get the clip, hopefully I'll be able to show it here, but they asked Klay, hey, Klay, what's going on here with, what's going on over there with Rodney? And he's like, Klay say some shit like, probably be out the league soon, just mad, or something like that. And it's funny because you don't hear Klay talk trash as much as you see some other players talk trash. Although I believe Klay talks a lot of trash and he takes a lot of pride in what he does, and he's an Aquarius like me, so I know what that mouth like. He runs that mouth when he wants to, and backs it up. So I would just like to see if Rodney does end up on the team, how they get along. I'm sure it's not any real beef like that, but just funny as people were talking about Draymond and CP3 getting along. Klay having had these little words, I guess, for Rodney McGruder at the end of this game a few years ago. So that'll be interesting to watch. We got some injuries going into the season. Corey Joseph, who's also a new addition to the team, I think he's having some back issues. And then Draymond, just recently it was announced he's got an ankle sprain, not believed to be a high ankle sprain, but still something that can keep him out 4 to 6 weeks. I think they're going to look at him again in 2 weeks, but definitely some danger of not being there at the start of the season, which can be good and bad. I mean, it'll give us an opportunity to see what that what the backup to Draymond looks like. I still would love to see us get another big. At one point, I thought it might be Dwight Howard, but it doesn't sound like he's going to fit in there. I would have loved to see Boogie Cousins come back. I don't know. I don't know why we didn't re-sign Boogie or if we've attempted to bring him back. I would have to look that up, but gonna have to have some size to be able to deal with these teams in the West, and definitely what we got to deal with coming out of the East. I think that with the recent trades, Milwaukee might be my favorite right now in the East. Might be my favorite right now out East. I think they bring it back everybody. And then, of course, added Dame. And that's what I'm saying. Are they my favorite, or do I like Boston with Drew Holiday? Gonna be some good battles in the East. I don't know who I like out East yet. Jimmy Butler's back with a new hairstyle. We'll get to that at some point. But expect them to be making some noise. It's gonna be a fun season. There's a lot of parity in the league. A lot of people with chips on their shoulders. A lot of people that can have breakout seasons. And we got the Wembanyama. I think I'm saying that right. If not, if he's that dude like they say he is, I'll know his name soon. We're gonna see what he does. We got Chet. Chet was hurt last season, so we didn't get to see Chet. We didn't get to see Chet get down. A lot of good young talent. See what Zion does. He's back with a vengeance. I'm really expecting an outbreak season for Anthony Edwards. I think he's gonna really show y'all that Minnesota's his team, and everybody better get in line and understand that he's the one and he's the truth. And the athleticism, the swag, the skill set, he's the truth. And everybody needs to know that. Keep an eye out on him. I believe that, especially after what we did with the with Team USA this summer. I think that we're gonna really see a great season out of Anthony. I think he's gonna have some things that he wants to prove coming out of the playoffs, and I'm gonna show y'all he mean business. So be on the lookout for him. But coming back to my Warriors, I am really expecting a breakout season from A-Dub. That's what I call Andrew Wiggins. He was away from the team for a little while, from like February to the playoffs almost. I think almost February to the playoffs. So being able to have him back for a full season and healthy, I want everybody to be healthy. I want Draymond to get healthy here for the start of the season as quickly as possible. But a breakout season from Andrew Wiggins, and just for him to remind every motherfucking body that he was a first round pick. He was the first pick in the NBA draft. Like, this dude ain't trash. He wasn't just some guy that we picked up and had to build up. This dude had game. And then he just had to get to the right place. Sometimes you just got to get around the right people. Sometimes you just got to get around the right energy. And the right group of people to support you and bring out the best in you. And the Warriors have been able to do that with Andrew. And so I love him as a Warrior. I hope that he stays a Warrior for years to come, because I think he's one of those players that'll bridge the gap between, the changing of the guard when that time comes, because he's young enough to still kind of be there and be that presence, and when he wants to, he can take over. And he doesn't do it as often as I would like him to, and maybe that's because he chooses to take a back seat to some of the other players, but when he wants to, he can. And I think this season we're gonna really see him set a pace that's gonna, make up for a lot of the points that people feel like we lost with Jordan Poole. I think that we'll get that back out of what we're going to get out of Andrew Wiggins this coming up season. Klay, Klay is my favorite player in the NBA of all times, Klay. And I believe that Klay is going to be back with a vengeance. I think that last season allowed him to get out of his way mentally, get his confidence back in himself physically, and we're going to see the Klay. I don't even know that we're going to see the Klay of old. I think we may see a new Klay that's got some new tricks in his bag. I feel like Klay was at a point right before those injuries where he was finna take this next step. He was going to be Game 6 Klay, and he was going to show you that he could carry a team and be as impactful with the Warriors as Steph and Draymond have been. And those injuries just robbed him of that moment. And I just think that this season we're going to see a new kind of Klay, a new kind of Klay. I think that he's smarter, he's healthier, he's stronger, he's more in tune with what the team needs from him, and he's going to deliver a masterful season. Something like we've never seen before. I got the Dubs winning it all. I don't see why we can't. Draymond is back. I hate the ankle injury early. More and more, Dre is hurt more and more in the seasons, and I hate that for him because it takes away from the effectiveness and the actual flow and rhythm of the team so much because he's so important to what we do as our strategy, and there's nobody that really can fill that role. We'll see what Kuminga can do in that space, but looking for Draymond to be Draymond. I know that he's for sure going to be looking to try to get another Defensive Player of the Year. For sure, going to be trying to get to a chip. And we'll hopefully for sure be keeping that podcast going and keeping us informed and in tune to what's on his mind. I love the way that he shares and gives his opinions and he doesn't back down. He don't give a fuck. Tell you what he think. We take it or leave it. He's gonna back up what he's supposed to back up on the floor and continue to be that dog and that heartbeat of the Warriors. And I get mad at Draymond sometimes. I get mad at Draymond sometimes. 2 seasons ago, I wanted to trade Draymond. I was so angry with him and some of the things that were going on. But you can't fucking trade Draymond. You know, I was gonna bench Draymond. But at the end of the day, you have to just let Draymond be Draymond because he is the heartbeat of what we do. And that's not to say that it's not Steph's team. It's Steph's team. But Draymond is the heartbeat of what we do. He does so much of the dirty work that goes unnoticed. He does so much of the dirty work on and off the court. You know, I know people will bring up the incident with Jordan Poole last year, and it seemed like, I don't know, I felt like after the trade that some of the players from the Warriors team made it seem like, you know, they didn't mind it so much that Draymond had fired on Jordan. Like, he had got on everybody's nerves. And it was just like, okay, I wouldn't have necessarily handled it like that, but since you fired on him, it is what it is. And I didn't hear it. I heard people say it messed up the chemistry. I heard people say it messed them up in the playoffs. I didn't hear a lot of people say that they wouldn't have fired on Jordan too. For the people that were at the practice, I'll go back and check. I'll go back and check. But I can't off the top of my head remember anybody who was just like, I wouldn't have fired on Jordan either. I hated it for Jordan because I feel like he didn't expect that was coming. But I also understand that you can only say so much to a grown-up before a grown-up deals with you accordingly. So that's that. We won't go down that road. Jordan's not there anymore. Wish him the best in Washington. I think that he's a dynamic young player, and he's gonna be able to have it his way in Washington. I hope that they put some things around him, and I think is Kyle Kuzma still there? Put some things around them that allow them to make some noise in the East. The Wizards fans have been putting up with losing for a long time, so I hope that he brings it. I know he's gonna bring some dazzling plays. I just hope that they put some pieces together to bring some wins into that organization. I would love to see Washington back in the playoffs here. Would be really cool. I heard a rumor, and I haven't confirmed it if there's even any interest at all, but potentially us adding a Reggie Bullock to the roster. I would definitely be checking into that a little bit more. When I think about next season, I can't help but to think about Oh, Stephen Curry. I heard him on the Warriors post game show on the NBC network, the Bay Area, NBC Bay Area. They had a King of the Light Skins competition that Steph won. So I affectionately refer to him as King of the Light Skins and effing Stephen. Listen, he looks tanned and ready in great preseason shape coming out of Dubai with the workouts that he was putting in. I'm just excited to see what the chef's gonna cook up. Was looking at the depth chart that they have posted so far, and right now it looks like we got Chris Paul at starting point guard, Steph at starting shooting guard, Klay at small forward, Andrew Wiggins at the power forward, and Draymond Green, of course, at the center. With the second team being like Steph at the point, Moses Moody shooting, Gary Payton, GP, the second GP. Are you with me? One of my favorite Warriors. I just love that kid's game, love his energy. Jonathan Kuminga, I'm excited for what he's going to do this season. I hope that he's at a point where they can take let the range go a little bit and just let this kid play. Let us see this above the rim action that he's got. I know he's going to have to be able to definitely deliver on defense and make the right pass. And I'm expecting that his shooting is improved. That's one of the things he's been working on. So excited to see what he's going to do. And then Kevon Looney, rounding out that second string. So that'll be fun. Besides that, I'm excited about another season with Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and Charles. That's always one of the things I'm looking forward to most when the NBA season rolls around, and especially as you start to see these guys really monetize their brand and what they do at TNT and outside of it. You just have to appreciate every season that we get those four together, because that is classic TV. Even if I'm not interested in the games, even if the games just aren't competitive enough for me to be able to watch all the way through, I make sure that I have that recorder set to get that TNT post game. Okay, you never know what you're gonna get out of them. You always learn a whole lot of stuff, but the laughs and the jokes that they play on each other are always just so fun. So looking forward to that. I'm thinking a lot about what they're saying and what they're thinking about the Warriors going into the season. So they calling us just a top 6 team in the West. A top 6 team in the West. A top 6 team in the West. Okay, I mean, put the number wherever you want it. When we roll the balls out there, I think that people gonna have to respect us, especially if we fool around and add another big in there. But I think they're gonna have to respect us because they don't. I mean, you haven't seen this before. What does it look like when Steph doesn't have to bring the ball up the court, but you have a real point guard bringing the ball up the court, and you got Steph and Klay, all over, and then Andrew, he'll bust your ass from 3 too. So, I mean, people haven't seen this. So they're not going to know how to prepare for it. We don't know what we're going to put out there yet. So I just got my popcorn ready. I can't wait. I'm for sure going to be tuned into every one of the games that I can get tuned into. I love the fact that they included the League Pass with the NBA 2K. That's a wonderful bundle to be able to purchase. This is my second year in a row doing that. So I hope they keep that up. Definitely get a bang for my buck purchasing it that way. I heard a question: can Steph continue his Tom Brady act and extend his prime into yet another season? Listen, stop daring this dude. Stop questioning this dude. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch his documentary on Apple TV, I think it's called Underrated. Don't quote me on it. Fabulous documentary. Fabulous documentary. And it'll help you understand that anything he put his mind to, he does. He finds a way. He figures out a way. He's a great leader on and off the court. I love that at the end of last season, we were hearing more about him being more vocal with the team. And like they said, when 30 talk, people listen because 30 don't talk that often. He like E.F. Hutton. You know, when he say something, everybody shut the fuck up and take notes. So I'm looking forward to continue to watch him grow as a leader and see how he takes his team to this next level with all of these different personalities on the team. So definitely excited about that. People are asking, can Chris Paul embrace and not just accept what they're calling a diminished role and be productive at 38? I'm not a Chris Paul fan. I'm not a Chris Paul fan. But what I know about CP3 is that I think everywhere he's gone, he's made the team better. I think that he's proven he'll do anything, even be a little dirty, to win. And I believe he's hungry for a ring. I also believe that if it's not working, that the Warriors and Chris will come to that conclusion very early in the season and make a decision to find something else to do, as far as, looking for a trade or finding a way out if it's not working. But I expect that he's going to show up and be a consummate professional. This guy was the president of the Players Association for so many years. He has the respect of so many players. And I don't think it is misplaced respect, even though I'm not a fan. I don't think it's misplaced respect. I think that he's earned this respect. And so I think that he'll continue to carry himself in a respectful manner and show up and show out when he gets to chase. And be honest enough to say, if it's not working, hey, let's look for something else. This isn't working and not dragging on. Because at 38, he don't have time to bullshit around. Chris won a ring. Some would say he wanted to go and play with LeBron, and maybe so. And if it's not working in Golden State, maybe there's a deal there that can send Chris to the Lakers if that's where he wants to be. But you don't keep showing up to preseason and practices and workouts at 38 for anything other than the pursuit of a ring. So I expect him to welcome with open arms whatever challenges and responsibilities the Warriors are ready to put on him to try to get Steph to his 5th ring and Chris to his first. So we'll see how that goes. But I definitely feel like he can have a great impact on the younger players, especially the Jonathan Kuminga. With I think I heard somebody say kind of unlocking his game, but he's more of a lobber and can kind of find you and can give him can introduce him to his above the rim game a little bit better than we've been able to do so far. So got that going with the addition of him to the team, and this is gonna be fireworks. It's gonna be fun to watch. Just get ready because we haven't seen this before. Steph never ceases to amaze. Steve Kerr is one of the best minds in basketball. He comes from some great coaching trees, And he makes some great adjustments, and he has a great staff around him. So we're going to be fine. We're going to be competitive. And at the end of the season, we're going to be champions. I am not really worried about if Curry is going to be able to manage personalities and all of that. I think that the culture and the tone that Draymond sets will keep personalities and personal feelings in check. And quite honestly, we know when you know that you're on a team with a guy who will knock you the fuck out, you tend not to make mountains out of molehills because you don't want that. You don't want that smoke. So if they have to address anything, it'll be real issues, and they'll address them like adults. Yeah. Everybody gonna be a grown up this season. I will be getting these recordings out often as possible. Talking Warriors is one of my favorite topics. As things come up, I may even go live with breaking news. So if this is some content that you're interested in, if you want to stay in the know of what's going on with Golden State and stay in the session with Cess, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the content, share the content. Let's go, Dubs. Stay tuned. We'll talk soon.